Hi, I'm Mark DeSchweinitz, president of the social media club Great Lakes Bay, and this is Digitized. Digitized is a new program about social media marketing. Social media marketing has exploded in the past couple of years. Facebook now has over 840 million registered users. Twitter over 500 million. One of the new sites up and coming in social media is Pinterest. I'm not sure if you've heard of it or not, but Pinterest grew in September of 2011 from 1.7 million users until February of 2012 up to 11 million users. We have a chart here I'd like you to look at for just a moment. This chart shows the growth rate that has surpassed Facebook and Twitter combined in terms of velocity. Tonight on our program, we're going to be exploring social media marketing in more depth. I have a great panel of guests here this evening, but before I introduce them, I'd like to tell you why I personally am passionate about social media marketing. My favorite sport and pastime is surfing. I grew up in California, and I spent 5 years living on the North Shore of Hawaii. I love social media because it is very fluid and dynamic. You can go out one day and you never know what is going to happen. A whole range of things could happen. The waves could be big. Videos could go viral. People could get attacked by a shark, rarely and hopefully not very often. Companies such as United Airlines, Domino's Pizza have experienced PR nightmares. Working in a field that is so fluid and dynamic is fun and exciting. And I've brought together some of the leaders in this area from the Great Lakes Bay area, as well as a guest from Ann Arbor. So let's meet our guests tonight. First, I have Heidi MacGyver. Pronounced like MacGyver, I understand. Heidi,
Yes.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you. I'm
Great.
very glad to be here today.
Great. Heidi is the digital interactive specialist for Next Media 360,
Correct.
which I understand manages the radio stations in the area.
Correct. Yep. I run the digital division, so we do website builds, mobile apps, social media, SEO, all that kind of stuff for clients.
Okay, great, excellent. And next to Heidi, we have Matt Smith, owner of Smitty's Ironworks, a local gym right here in Midland, Michigan.
Yep. Thanks, Mark. I'm very happy to be here tonight.
Great, thanks, Matt. I read on your LinkedIn profile that you have several state championships in powerlifting in the state of Michigan. That's
Absolutely.
very admirable. Thanks
Thank
a lot for being here.
Thank you.
Next to Matt, we have Mark Johnson. Mark is the Director of Digital and Social Media for Green Builder Media. Green Builder Media, is that correct?
That's right, Mark. I sure am. It's a new position with them, and I'm really excited to be working with Green Builder Media.
Okay, great. Thanks, Mark. And then we also have Ryan Richards. Ryan is a marketing manager for Midland Tomorrow.
Yes, we
Yes.
are the Economic Development Corporation for Midland County. So we work mainly with manufacturing businesses. We try to help the ones that are here grow, and we also try to attract new ones to the area.
Okay, great. Well, we always appreciate people trying to spur the economy in Midland here, so thanks a lot for what you do, Mark, and the rest of our guests tonight. Our theme for the evening is who cares about social media? Maybe you're watching this program and turning it off and saying, I don't care about social media. Hopefully not. But social media is something that, whether you like it or not, affects you. The news that comes out on social media often pops up on Twitter before it does on CNN, for example. So I'd like to talk to some of our guests here tonight and ask them what they think about social media. So let's start with you, Matt. Why do you care about social media?
Well, the industry that I work in health and fitness is such a information-driven industry where the people that we work with are always looking for information. They're looking for health tips and recipes and exercise tips and just bits of information that they can use in their workouts and at home with their families and just to lead an active, healthy lifestyle. So the ability for me to quickly scan a number of areas and grab tidbits that I feel will be useful information and get it back out to our customers in a very quick fashion it's just very efficient use of information where people can sort through and grab the things that they think are relevant to them.
Right. And prior to the show, I was talking with Matt here, and he'd mentioned that, you know, even if he's in Mexico on vacation, he's reading on his phone an article from Men's Health or another journal, he could press a tweet button. It'll show up integrated on his website, so he's got fresh content on there about health and nutrition, that type of thing, which I think is excellent. So
yeah, it's very accessible. That tweet box on our homepage is an easy way for me to get information out to people very quickly and be accessible all the time. So it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun.
Thanks.
And that's a really good point, you know, accessing information. People are accessing information in totally different ways than they did 10 years ago, and making sure that your business is there and giving them the information the way that people want to receive it. Because there's people that use Twitter, there's people that use Facebook, Pinterest. You know, you're all communicating with people in different methods.
Yeah, that brings a good point up, Heidi. Actually, in my work, I work as a digital and social media manager for a company here in Midland, and people often say, I want to start using social media, but where do I start? Should it be Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn? And really the response I give them is, you go where your customers are, because whoever you want to reach, they're probably using one of these platforms already. If they're not, if they're using email, maybe the answer is don't use social media yet, use email. Probably they're on Facebook if almost 1 billion people are out there. But the answer is really go where your customers are.
Well, an interesting thought there too is I think a person can start out with a platform like Facebook with their close friends and family and really get a feel for using it and interacting with people that they're close to before they maybe venture out and start interacting with their customers. If they're uncomfortable about, you know, potentially about using it, I think it has an easy start there, an easy entry level there with, because you choose who's going to see your content and who your friends are going to be.
Yeah, that's right. And yeah, Mark, go ahead.
I was going to say one of the things that surprised me, because I've been on LinkedIn for some time, and I always thought of that as resumes and a place where people look for jobs. But I have my Twitter feed integrated with LinkedIn now, and because that community is related to the kind of tweets that I do for business, I'm amazed at how many shares I get of people pushing out my content because they've seen it on a LinkedIn stream, even though it's Twitter.
Right. Yeah, you can essentially connect all of your social channels right now. And there was an episode on the show The Office where Ryan came up with this woof app, and it was supposedly he hit the woof, I just woofed you, and then his phone rang and the fax and like everybody in the office. But yeah, I guess that's not too far-fetched. It was a parody at the time, but really that happens quite a bit. So, Ryan, how about you working for Midland Tomorrow? Why do you care about social media?
Well, we do a couple things. We try to help the local businesses and build relationships with them, and we're also trying to bring new ones in. And so we have to build the case for our services, and we also have to be marketing Midland and getting people to know really that it exists and what the advantages are for them. And so if we can't be in that real-time social media mode where people learn about things as soon as they happen, then we're really behind the curve compared with other competing communities. And so it's been a conversation that, you know, it's out there already, and you have to step into it or you'll get left behind.
Right. That's a great point. I actually moved to Midland about 4 years ago, and the company I work for had sent me a pamphlet about the city, so I looked through that several times. At the time, though, it would have been nice to go onto a discussion forum or hop onto Facebook somewhere and say, you know, where's the best park in town, or where should I eat, what hotel should I stay at, and then have a conversation with local residents. So I could see a great application for social media there.
Yeah, and we actually just finished a virtual tour of Midland that incorporates different social media aspects to it to try to answer exactly those questions for people coming in. So you're right, there's a lot of application in that field.
Right, okay, great. Mark, I've been on Twitter for quite a while now, and I see that you post tweets fairly often, several times a day. How do you find the balance of how much content to put out there when you're publishing new information on Twitter?
Yeah, I appreciate the question, Mark. What my approach to Twitter has been is to use some automated tweets and then combine that with the personalized ones that I do each day. And I actually publish a series of e-newspapers, if you will, and what's fun about that is it's really just pulling content from other people's tweets and the links, but you can categorize those. So, for example, my background is as an architect. So lyrical architecture is one of my e-newspapers, and that's a neat way that I can push out content, and people appreciate it because I'm picking up their stories.
Okay,
So
right.
we're all kind of doing a favor for each
So
other.
quite a few of those tweets are other people's content that you're sharing with your following on Twitter? Is that-
Exactly.
Okay.
And I do some creative stuff, but I'm happy to be a curator of other people's
curator.
creative content too. So that's kind of the combination or balance I strike.
Okay. Oh, that's great. And I imagine, as an architect, you probably didn't have anything to do with social media or internet marketing for quite some time. Is that correct? And
That's right. I started my career there, and then it's when I moved to the building product side of the industry and became a marketer. So it was a migration from traditional marketing, then adding an overlay of digital marketing, and now social media marketing.
Okay, great. And Matt, since you've been owning this gym, Smitty's Ironworks here in town, were you always into internet marketing, or was there a point where you said, hey, I need to get more involved in this area?
Yeah, no, I definitely wasn't, and I definitely came from just a purely health and fitness background, and even computers as a whole when I started were something fairly foreign to me. My background was just working with people on the floor, and fortunately for me, my wife Julie works in a very computer-based arena, and so she taught me very quickly to do these things. It was actually my sister and my cousin who finally said, you've got to get on Facebook, you've got to get on Facebook, you've got to get on Facebook. And of course, like a lot of people were 5-6 years ago, I was a little resistant. I don't need to be on Facebook, I don't have time for that. They created a Facebook account for me. They said, well, we're just going to do it for you. So then curiosity killed the cat. So I'm like, I started poking around in there, and I started finding some high school friends, and then I started connecting with members of the gym, and slowly but surely, I think everyone just kind of finds their groove, and then it blew up, and I had the opportunity to go to a few different conferences, the Ignite conference last year, and little by little, you learn more and more about how these things tie together, and you start hearing comments and feedback from people that are saying, I saw your post, you motivate me with the things that you put up every day, or thank you for the article you posted, and you succumb. I mean,
Right.
you just, and then you enjoy it, I mean, it was that was the process for me.
Well, I remember the day when my mother told me that she was getting on Facebook, and I thought, wow, this is really expanding to all ages, all groups. And today, actually, I read a statistic that 7% of children 4 years old and under have their own Facebook pages, which blew me away. That was on Adweek today.
Yeah.
I have young children, and they do not have Facebook pages right now.
Not yet.
Yeah.
However,